when it comes to
Definitely.
travel, hotel, food, and stuff like that.
Yes. Yes, the big cons, it depends on how many days you're going, that's all the costs. You got the food costs. It is definitely more expensive at the con than just going around the corner and going to the store, which a lot of us do. We just go up to the restaurants or something. We don't always eat at the con, but definitely lots of water. Lots of water.
Today's Cosplay Con Talk episode is sponsored by Moco Queen Color Contacts. Don't forget to use my code Wayne for 10% off at checkout at mocoqueen.com. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Everyone, Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. I'm joined here by Pacific Northwest cosplayer Janey Jules. First off, thank you for coming on to this series for the first time.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I've never really, I've been too shy to do a lot of this stuff, so.
I mean, first time for, as I say, first time for everything, and I've had a lot of people who've never done this before, so I've gotten used to it at this point. Well, first off, thank you for coming on. Second off, how long have you been cosplaying for, and what got you into this hobby?
Oh, well, I've actually started like cosplaying really young before was that I knew that it was called cosplaying. I always liked to dress up. I was always into Halloween. I even dressed up when it wasn't Halloween. It was just a big thing for me. I started cosplaying, early 2000s after that. And then I didn't know there was quite a scene for it. So I didn't really go like do anything. And then, COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, like, I see this huge community and I'm just like, oh my gosh, why didn't I know about this?
Oh yeah, no, early 2000s, like it was just starting to become a thing. I mean, you had like shows like Heroes of Cosplay on Sci-Fi back in like '09, 2010, when like it was becoming more well known, and then late 2010, 2010s arrived, and it's just like everyone and their mother-in-law is basically doing it.
Yeah, I grew up on Dragon Ball Z, and one of my first anime movies I ever watched was called Ninja Scroll. So yeah.
That's it's not the first time I've heard of Ninja Scrolls. Like I've yet to see it, and I grew up on anime from the '90s. Speaking of Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and
Yeah.
Gundam, and Big O, and all that stuff. Oh God, anime that I wasn't supposed to watch as a kid, but it was on Toonami, so
Yeah.
gotta pass. Um, so what was it like? Um, So you first did you was it like the 2000s when you went to your first convention, or?
Well, my dad grew up kind of nerdy. He used to go to a comic book shop every weekend and we used to go with him, and that's how we got into the comics, and such. So cons kind of came shortly after that, just there to see the nerdy stuff. Again, didn't know much about cosplay at the time when I first started going. I was like, oh, that person's dressed up. That's cool. But it was very rare and in between back then. So
No, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you grew up around when they were still doing like glom circles and yaoi paddles.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my dad grew me up on Star Trek, Star Wars, like all the. My first like actual comic book was Punisher. My dad used to give me all the Barbie stuff, but I told him, I'm like, I want a real comic book.
None of this.
And I went and grabbed Punisher. Yeah. So
it's like none of this pink cutesy crap. Let's just just murder and mayhem.
But then when I grew up, yeah.
Do you remember what your very first convention was?
It was a Rose City Comic Con, I believe. Back in early days. My memory is not that great anymore. I was such a stoner.
Honestly, fair. I had that phase back in 2010s. So
Yeah.
it's fair. So Rose City, when you first went, what was that like?
Definitely a lot smaller than it is now. just didn't seem that big. I mean, you saw only like certain kinds of people there. It wasn't all walks of life like how it is now. Because back then, a lot of people were like, "Oh gosh, you're a nerd. Stay." No, it was still that kind of thing. You couldn't tell people you were like into Dungeons and Dragons and stuff and all that fun things. But yeah, a lot of people were still hiding a lot of their nerdiness back then.
I mean, I let that flag fly. Did I lose friends along the way? Yeah, but you know what? I enjoyed. I feel
Hey,
like, yeah, people may have judged you, but as long as you're enjoying, you're having fun.
exactly. That's what
I
everything's about. Like anything you're into, you should be having fun. If you're not, then you shouldn't be part of it.
exactly. Nowadays, like everyone's, like I said, like you said, Rose City back then, handful of people, but now it's like you're seeing people like, guests like from Critical Role, Star Wars be guests there. Everyone's, even if you're not like exactly into that kind of stuff, you're going because it's something huge, it's something big. People want to know about it.
Yeah. I know it's so popular now. All the animes, all the Star Wars, Star Trek, anything pop culture. It is just all right in your face anymore. So
Oh no, it definitely. I can't lie. It definitely is. So questions I normally ask. We start with like the convention stuff first, and we work our way to the cosplay. Um, so how many cons have since you started going to conventions and everything? If you can remember, how many cons have you gone to, and like what's been like your favorite one?
um Washington Summer Con, which is actually coming up here pretty soon, is probably one of my favorites because, it's nice weather and like half of the con feels like it's outside, which is nice. And there's a lot more area for people to meet, do meetups, do, photos, everything. So, and it's always been a good vibe every time I've gone to one of those. I've been going to quite a few cons ever since I started getting into the cosplay community. I go to like about 5 a year.
I wish I could do that. My limit is like 3 to 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have some wonderful friends that are like, "Hey, Jules, we're going to this con. Let's go. We're doing this. We're cosplaying this." So
I mean,
the
you
vibe
could say
now.
no, but like,
I can't say no.
no, no,
Too
no.
much
You,
fun.
I mean, it gives you a chance to just not have to deal with that the adult life or like
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my happy places. Like my work is very stressful, so going out with friends, cosplaying, going to these cons, I just feel like I'm right at home. So it's nice.
Yeah. And I've heard a lot about Washington Summer Con. I mean, I know they have expanded to have a gaming expo and an anime one too now. So like
Yep.
they're slowly expanding to like what they're doing.
Yes. They do horror con as well, it was pretty fun. So me and my friend went last year.
Ooh, what was that like?
So a lot of horror movies, horror animes, comics, all that. It's like basically the same thing, but all horror themed. It
I
was
know a lot
great. You
of.
had the same kind of voice actors were there for horror things. They've got the actual like film actors and TV. It was fun.
Uh, I've seen my fair share of horror anime, and I'm just like, hmm.
Yeah.
That can get pretty dark. I can name a few horror anime, but
Yeah. Depending on where the anime originates from, yeah, it can get pretty dark. Very dark.
I've seen
Uncomfortable dark.
oh god, what's the name of that one? I can't remember the name, but it's like these group of kids are in this haunted schoolroom. They made a video game about it too.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. I can see it. You can't name it.
Yeah, no, 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 no. So now to get onto convention stuff. What advice would you like to give someone who wants to go to their first convention, but they're not sure because there's a lot of people out there when they hear about these conventions, they either want to go to a small one, which I personally think going to a small one's a good start, but then you got these people like, I don't want to go to Disneyland. I want to go to Disney World. I want to go to like Anime Expo, Dragon Con, Anime Los Angeles, all these big cons. Like,
Mhm.
oh, whoa, 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 slow your roll.
Yeah. I know everybody's different. I was at the big cons first, but little cons are nice too. It's definitely more close knit with the smaller ones. The majority of the people, and It just seems like a big hangout at the small ones. The big ones are nice, but it can get overwhelming really quick. Everything coming at once, it can be a lot at the big ones.
Oh,
So
I
depending if you have anxiety or anything, I mean, definitely hit a small one first, see how you do with that, then maybe move on to the bigger ones. And it's
I
also about
agree.
cost too. So
Oh yeah, and I don't think this is a question I've ever asked anyone. Do you think if someone wants to go to a big con for the first time, like say like they've done their small cons, they want to go to a big con, or they've never done any cons, they want to go to a big con, do you think they should prepare for a big con? Because the bigger the con, the more costly it's gonna be, especially,
yeah,
when it comes to
definitely.
travel, hotel, food, and stuff like that.
Yes. Yes, the big cons, it depends on how many days you're going, that's all the costs. You got the food costs. It is definitely more expensive at the con than just going around the corner and going to the store. Which a lot of us do. We just go up to the restaurants or something. We don't always eat at the con, but definitely lots of
Mhm.
water, lots of water. So, some cons, they have high security, so some items can't even be brought in. So definitely got to look into that too. So there's a lot of things in when you got to go to a con. So yeah, prep is definitely nice to have beforehand. Look into
And do you,
everything.
and if a con website hasn't, do you think because not everyone does it, but do you think people should look at the rules and guidelines of the cons before going? Because I know every con is different, especially when it comes to like cosplay. Because most cons won't allow you to wear. Most cons won't let you come to a con if you look like, I don't know. For example, what's her name from Kill a Kill,
Yeah.
when she's in like that specific outfit, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, again, it depends on how lax the con is too. Sometimes they might have rules and sometimes people will show up regardless how whatever. But I mean, definitely word of mouth, ask around because other people that have been going to these type of cons for a while, they might have some insights. Especially when it comes to like ADA. Some of the websites don't list their ADA stuff. There
Mm-mm.
was a big thing with the Komori Con. Or not Komori Con, sorry. Sakura Con as well as Wasabi Con.
Yep, I've
So
heard about the whole SoccerCon thing, and I know SoccerCon was really like pushing back on people's concerns. I'm not bashing the con. I'm just saying, there are a lot of cosplayers out there who use mobility aids, and they
yeah.
want to go to these
There is
cons.
quite a few.
And
There is a high percentage actually of people that require that. Even if they don't have a wheelchair or look like they are disabled in any sort of way, you can't always, say, "Oh,
invisible
they're
in,
fine." No.
invisible disabilities are a thing. Someone who has, issues with their right leg, like if I'm on it for too long, or if I'm walking on
Exactly.
for too long, like I'm gonna have to like sit down or use a cane. Like
Exactly.
you may not physically see it, but and there are even sometimes cosplayers who go to these, they cosplayers use mobility aids. They want to compete in
Yes.
said competition, so
And they don't
you got to
always
find
have
ways.
the right gear to get them on stage. So, like one year they had them right in front, which is like right where the seating and everything's at. And it's just like, no, that's not how it should be. They should have a
No,
ramp or something, anything.
I completely agree. I think that's something that you don't really hear talked about a lot for cons. I'm like, and it's not bashing these cons. It's just like ideas. You want people to come to these cons. You want to make sure it's for everyone. So
Exactly.
don't try to like alienate half your attendees.
Yeah. You can't
Go
you
for
can't bully these people just because of their disabilities or whatever. This is a lot of it is like that. They just want to pick them out and be like, nope, this isn't really for you, but we're going to make it look like it's for you. So, but you just
it.
gotta,
Oh
it's
no,
kind of high schoolish, like in a way too, with some of the people that run some of those, but
I completely agree. I'm not going to say any other names of conventions, but I completely agree. Also another question. This kind of this also pertains to cosplayers. Advice for a cosplayer who wants to go to a con. Like someone's like, I want to cosplay, I want to go to a con.
well, that if it's their first time cosplaying or going to a con cosplaying, definitely check out all the meetups. That's how I kind of got involved. Is like I found out about a meetup. And that way I was able to get there, and then I was meeting people. And then there's a couple that I've been friends for years now with, because I decided to throw myself into a meetup. So those are definitely a big thing for the brand new cosplayers that want to get in there and go to a con.
Oh no, I 100% love seeing these different themed meetups, like especially when they post like the pictures on their Instagram, and you just see like hundreds of like people cosplaying from this one social media, and then you see like the voice actor get in with them in the photos, which I always think is like the coolest thing ever.
So yeah, research. Research.
Oh,
Can't talk.
research your research.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I had a full day work. My brain's fried.
Oh no! Trust me, I get the whole work thing. Another question: traveling for cons. So there's the difference. I know there's like a difference between traveling in your hometown for a con, but then there's a difference between traveling to a different city of the same state you live in, and then there's a difference traveling to a different state. Have you ever traveled outside of your city or state for a con?
So I live in Vancouver, Washington. So I'm right across the river from Portland. So I have to drive in. And then I've gone to Puyallup. I've done Seattle. So a lot of those. But definitely look up parking too ahead of time, because I know there's a place, I think it was down in Eugene, where they didn't have any parking and people were trying to get there early, and it was just a hot mess. So there is, ride shares, but the further you go out, the more expensive those are. There's buses, there's a train that goes from, Portland to Seattle. Sometimes that's not too bad. But
Really?
there's ways to, yeah.
Huh. I will remember that if I ever when I can go up to Seattle for some cons.
Yeah, I have a couple friends that do the train that go up. So
Maybe cheaper than a plane.
I don't know how I'm not sure how expensive it is. I don't know exactly price, but yeah. But it's nice. You just get to sit there and enjoy the view.
I mean, I've been on the Amtrak from the outskirts of Portland to get to downtown Portland for KomoriCon back in 2023. It's a good 30-minute train ride.
So, and then of course there's flying if you're going like clear out of state, But
that could be pretty spendy.
Oh yeah, because the big cons, like there was the big Vegas con, the Level Up, which a lot of people I knew went to. So that can be quite pricey.
I know I know quite a few people who go to Level Up Expo. I've known people I have friends who live in Texas who travel to Level Up Expo. It's like, someday we'll see.
I know, it's on my list too. So I've got a lot of cons on my list. I have cosplay friends because of Instagram, in different states, and I'm planning on trying to meet up with some of them. So trying to plan those things out.
That's always a plan. That's how I go about this when I do these interviews. Like if I ever get to meet you ever get a chance to meet someone in person, I just want to thank them for coming on and everything.
Yeah.
I also am sure you agree with when it comes to traveling, do your research, whether it be for the hotel, what the traffic is like, what's the weather going to be like.
And definitely if you have cosplay friends, bunk with them, get a hotel together. That's just the cheapest way. Carpool, all this, put in for gas, whatever you need to do. But that is one of the best ways to go. So.
Oh, no, I completely agree. If you can stay with someone or something, because I plan on doing that next year for the Oregon Ren Fair. It's traveling and just staying with a friend because there's no way in hell I'm going to pay for a hotel.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can also agree. Do your research when it comes to like the weather. Pack your cosplay accordingly, especially if you live up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
And it's like during fall or winter, it's going to be cold. So I mean, I get it. You want
and wet most of the time.
I get it. You want to cosplay as Junko Inoshima or Simone from Gurren Lagann. No, Kamina from Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to be cold.
Yeah, we do. I mean, there is some people where we definitely research that and then we plan our outfits accordingly. Sometimes we change up and just be like a casual day for this character, and be more on the comfy side, not exactly looking just like them, but being comfy and, warm. And so you don't
A lot
always
of
have to
anime
dress up
characters.
exactly like the character. You can throw your own whatnot into it and be comfy. You don't have to be uncomfortable at these things. So
I mean, I get it. You want accuracy over comfortability. I get that.
yeah, but there's a lot of like people that like accuracy. The ones that are like perfectionists like me, where you'll cry if you get one little button wrong, or something like that. So, yeah, it's hard, but I'm like, it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun and comfortable and just having a good old time. I don't think you need to be exactly accurate unless you are pursuing, like the contests. So,
Oh yeah, no, the cosplay contest, that's a whole different ball game.
oh my gosh, those people are inspiration, but wow.
Oh no, something I can never do. Something I don't know if I'd ever do. Like I'd probably just enter like a low level cosplay contest, but I'm okay with hosting cosplay contests because I've done that twice.
Nice. Yeah.
But also do your research when it comes, like you said, when we talked about it, food, because let's face it, convention food is not cheap. You don't want to go. You don't. You get you're hungry, but you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't be like me, spending like $10 on just a singular hot dog or almost $20 on
Yeah.
burger and fries.
Yeah.
But it's
And
not. It's not the con's fault. It's the people who run the vendors. That
yeah.
run the food vendor stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Pretty
you get
much.
lucky.
So.
Sometimes you get lucky. There's a food truck outside.
Yeah, I know. And like I said, like at the Seattle one, the Seattle convention, there's a couple little food places around that area, so it's nice to go out and eat actual food instead of just like con food.
Nah, no. I mean, if you have the money. But then
Yep.
if you also want the food trucks, be prepared for the lines at those food
Yes.
trucks.
That is. Never know.
Let's see, we talked about that. Talked about that. I think another thing. I think I want to. I don't think I've ever asked this. Advice for people who want to bring like their kids to a con.
Well, me being a mom, I used to take my kid. He used to cosplay with me and everything too. So, he got really into it for a while, and I would go, but yeah, just know ahead of time it can get really crowded, and there can be some inappropriate looking, cosplays that parents might be upset about. But I mean, they should know at this point, depending on the con, you might see that, and you might,
Oh,
your kid might see that. So you either got to be okay with that or just don't go.
Wholeheartedly. I mean, I always like anytime I know someone's a parent and they cosplay, go to conventions. I always like getting their advice because there are times where like there are stories where I've heard where a parent will just drop like their 13, 14, 16-year-old at a con by themselves.
See, that's it's. I mean, if they're in a group of people, maybe it'd be okay, but there should still be a chaperone, just like as in like any school kind of thing, there's always an adult chaperone around for underage, because you never know. There is going to be creepers at cons, regardless if you see them or not. They will be around.
No, I agree, and it's not just the men that can be creepers. Sometimes women can be creepers too
Oh,
at a con.
yeah. I've seen some women.
I've heard my first stories of
Yeah.
of female creepers at cons.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
they could be sometimes worse than the men. So, but yeah, anybody underage, I think either with a huge group of friends and maybe with an adult. So, but yeah, these people that drop them off. I mean, if it's a certain kind of con, maybe like it's promoting towards the younger group.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, for these big, huge cons, I don't think it's appropriate to just drop your kids off, especially if they're like 12, 13. So
No, I completely understand. Again, that's why I always like getting a parent's perspective. Especially those
I grew
parents
my
out
kid
there.
up on South Park, so I mean,
I mean, to be fair, I was fine.
I got him into the things where he should know and not know, and made sure
I
to be like,
mean,
yeah.
to be fair, I was 5 and I watched South Park and I turned out okay.
Yeah, I mean, I started watching horror movies at 5, so I mean, I got the blood, gore,
As long
all
as you
that.
don't as long as you don't act it out in any way, shape, or form, like at school or in a
I
public
mean,
place.
yeah, I mean, like you gotta bring them up, like in other countries, like say Germany, perhaps say they start drinking alcohol at a young age, but they are already, into that, and they understand, the consequences and all that because their parents grew them up to understand all that. I think it has to be the same kind of way.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, look up in Canada, certain provinces you can be 18 and drinking, other provinces you have to be 19 and older to drink.
Yep. Germany, I think it's 16, 15 with an adult, so
Yeah,
18 for hard liquor. So you can drink beer at 15, 16.
Speaking of, I don't know if you're the type of have you ever done like the after party things for conventions? Advice you may want to give in to some people who've never been to a con after party?
Um, yeah, those are hit and miss that I've experienced so far. Um, it's hard because a couple of the after parties, like raves and such, they were kind of a disappointment. So I don't know if it's just like word of mouth, seeing who's going and whatnot. So, but I mean, they're fun for the short little time. The one in the Emerald City proms, those were kind of fun. But there wasn't a ton of people there. But yeah, don't expect huge
No, they're
and
saying
yeah,
don't expect that stereotypical '90s movies type of rave
exactly.
with all that
Yeah, a lot
techno
of
music.
there's some other places, facilities that are throwing, raves separate from the con that a lot of people are going to too. But I haven't experienced one of those yet. So
And I know some people do the pre-con thing, like a day zero thing, where they'll dress up and go out to drink or something.
yeah, some people do a big thing on day 0, but
Just don't overdo it because you don't want to wake up with a hangover.
yeah,
And next thing you
cons with a
know,
hangover. No.
and next thing you know, it's like you see, Mommy, why is Sailor Moon stumbling?
Oh, I've seen my fair share of drunk cosplayers too. So
Hmm.
at the cons, but it's fun.
Before we go into the cosplay stuff, what cons do you plan on going to for the remainder of this year, and what is your all-time dream con? Like, this con you always wanted to go to, but just right now it's not in the budget.
Not in my budget. Wow. Well, San Diego Comic-Con is always the big one. Definitely want to hit that up at least once. The New York Comic-Con is definitely one I want to see. It's just on a totally opposite end of the country, so I'm like, let me go there. But yeah, those are the two big ones that I have right now. MCMC in London actually would be a good one as well.
I know a lot of people who go to that one, the Manchester one in
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah. So those are probably the 3 big ones on my list. As for cons I'm going to, obviously Washington Summer Con, which is actually in like a week, a week and a half next weekend. And then the next one after that, I am trying to hit up the Arizona SaboCon.
Ooh, I heard good things about SaboCon.
Yeah, so that one is Labor Day weekend. So I'm gonna try and see where my funds are before I actually commit. And then of course I go to Rose City Comic Con every year because it lands right around my son's birthday as well as my brother's. So I always take them.
Nice.
The one after that I think I have is Kumori Con, and I think that's it for the year, honestly.
I'll probably be seeing you in Kumori-Con because I plan on going back up there this year as well.
Yeah, I was last year, and last year was the when I made an outfit completely from scratch. So I was very happy and proud there.
Nice. I can't wait to bring my 2 cosplays up there this year as well.
Nice.
Looking forward to that. Now onto cosplay stuff. What kind of advice would you want to give to someone who wants to get into cosplay, but right now they're on a budget or they're too afraid? Because I know sometimes when people search up cosplay, it's usually those well-known cosplayers that they see, and they're like, "Oh, this is what cosplay is? I don't know if I want to do that now."
I've actually talked some people into starting cosplay, but it's definitely a budget thing. A lot of things are expensive. If you have friends that cosplay, maybe borrow outfits, see how you like it, go from there. There's always swap meets for outfits. Especially at the smaller cons, I think people promote a little bit before and saying, "Hey, there's a swap."
I want
Just
to see
start out
more of
maybe
those.
small. Just get a wig and just wear your normal clothes and just go casual. There's several different things. A lot of people just throw things from their closet together. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what
So
That's what I do. Now I just piece something together off of Amazon.
yeah, yeah,
It's how I got all the stuff I need for Geralt and my OC Tiefling from Baldur's Gate 3.
nice, nice. Yeah. So start small. See, go from there. Save money if you want bigger, or you want to do, add stuff. You want to get into crafting, that type of stuff. Start small. See how you
I
like
mean,
it.
Goodwill's also a good place too. Secondhand stores. They always have like
Yeah,
something that you can, like you said, throw together. Find a wig that matches your favorite character. Bam.
yeah.
You got your casual dressed anime character.
Yeah, I'll just put the wig on, maybe do a little makeup, and voila, done. Easy. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, no,
you don't always have to have a style wig. I know a lot of people that are just getting into it don't know how to style wigs. I still don't know how to style a wig. I suck. I actually beg my friends to help me with that. So,
no, I don't. Well, actually, I've got to technically be styling my first wig soon. So
yeah, I've got
that's
actually
the.
got to do that.
I found the right wig. I just have to make sure because it's got the hair part is the upper part is right. It's just more so of cutting it to the right length and then put it into that ponytail. It's Geralt's wig from The Witcher 3.
Ah,
So
nice, nice.
like I found the right wig because if the hair is already like this, it's just a matter of tying the thing, cutting it the
Yeah.
right length.
I know a lot of my cosplays actually have wigs that don't require a lot of styling. So, I got lucky
I
there.
mean, if you can find a lace front, I mean, lace front wigs are fairly cheap. It's just, the time and effort you have to put into them
Yeah.
to make them look like that specific character. Because I know for a fact, like getting a wig commission can be fairly costly. I
Yeah.
know I got one commissioned a few years back for Joel from The Last of Us, and this is on my part. You got to make sure you give whoever's commissioning your wig. You got to make sure to give them the right measurements for the wig
Yes.
because you can get the wig, and next thing you know, it's too small and it does not look right.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely another research type thing. That's all we do.
Research, research, research. I mean, hell, I mean, look at these video games. They're giving like cosplay guides to these outfits.
Yeah.
Like just recently, Claire Obscure's Expedition 33 just gave out a cosplay guide for the main character's outfits.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and also photo mode's a great thing too for video games.
Video games. Love them. I'm like hooked on one right now. So been playing
Oh,
every day.
what game's that?
It's Metaphor. It's by the same Atlas that
Oh,
does Persona.
Persona.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
so into it.
I just saw that they're coming out with a Persona 4 remaster.
They're reviving that. I know. I just
I,
saw little clips of it. I'm like, because I binged 3, 4, and 5 like back to back to back.
I
So
couldn't get into 5, but I am excited because sometimes I do like to talk about the other segments I do talk about. I just saw that Xbox announced that in December they're finally adding Final Fantasy VII Remake to the Xbox.
oh, finally they've got a couple of other Final Fantasies. I'm surprised they had so long to get that one, but that's awesome.
Which is funny. Final Fantasy VII Remake came out before Final Fantasy 16, but they added 16 first,
Yeah.
which you can now get. I'm like, I
I
only
know.
got a
I
few months.
bought
I
a
don't need to.
PlayStation just for Final Fantasy VII.
I was like, okay, we got the remake Integrate out for 7 coming out soon for winter. So hopefully next year they can uh, bring Rebirth to the Xbox. So then I don't have to buy a PS. I mean, I still have to buy a PS5, but I don't have to buy those games specifically.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, like I said, people, we like to talk about the other segments on here, Game of Winning, for instance, Geeking Out.
Yeah. I'm all for geeking out, nerding out, whatever you want to call it. I'm just like, I put a little bit in each little fandom is basically where I'm at.
Oh no. So do you do any type of makeup for your cosplays?
I do a lot of male cosplays, so I've been trying to get better about my mask makeup looks. I was Akaza from Demon Slayer, so I definitely had to do some makeup there for him. I don't do a lot of huge makeup, like any prosthetic, like added noses or added whatnot. I haven't gotten to that level yet. I was so behind in makeup when it came to like normal makeup back in high school. I never wore it until like towards my senior year in high school, so I was behind the game there. So I just stick with the simple stuff. Yeah, I mean scars and blood. That's easy, but like anything like outland, like just wow. I can't. I'm not that type of person.
What's been your favorite male character to cosplay then?
My favorite male character that I've done, or
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that's hard because I've done a lot recently. I was like Corazon from One Piece. I've done Zoro from One Piece. Also Mihawk from One Piece. I actually did the female version of Mihawk, so never ixnay that one.
Nice.
Akaza, I've done both female and male. And then Overhaul was probably my absolute favorite.
Is he the one with like the half plague doctor mask?
Yes, he's the plague man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, and if you're not gonna lie, I thought that was your real hair.
Oh, yeah. That was one time when I did the fantasy version of Overhaul, that was my real hair. When I first came out into the cosplay community, I had a wig. So, but yeah, he's
Nice.
probably my favorite cosplay that I've done. It's just comfortable, and I just feel like myself in him. So,
Hey, there's nothing. As I always say, there's nothing wrong with that. And that actually kind of brings me to another question. Advice for people of the opposite gender wanting to cosplay characters of the opposite gender, whether it be gender
go for it.
bend or gender swap.
Oh, do it all. Like have fun with it. I don't see why some people have such an issue with it. Same with like skin color or your body weights and whatever you want to call it. But like I think you could just cosplay whoever the heck you want. It's if it's your happy place, if that's your happy character, do it. You shouldn't listen to anybody else. Their opinion doesn't matter. It's
Oh,
what you feel inside. If that
I
is your
can,
comfort, if that is your happy place, go. Do
I
it. I don't
completely
care.
agree. Also, if anyone's familiar with this, we also have this thing. Sorry, I noticed a cat tail.
Oh,
Can you show your
yeah.
cat, please? Oh,
This is
oh,
Shrimpy. This one's not mine. This is actually my roommate's, but she's out of town. So this one is
oh.
more curious. Mine is running around somewhere. So
I saw like one with a black fluffy tail. I saw a cat tail. I'm like,
the black fluffy, gray fluffy. She ran off. So
so for being, I have this thing that anytime if a pet is shown or a pet is heard, I always ask people to show. I call them pet cameos because I'm a sucker for pets, especially cats.
I got two cats running around. So
As CL would call Sebastian in Black Butler, a cat obsessed moron.
yeah, my cat's actually named after an anime. It's Hinami from Tokyo Ghoul.
Nice.
Me and my son. That was my son's like very first anime that he just jived with. Like we bonded over Tokyo Ghoul. I have tattoos of Tokyo Ghoul now, so
Nice.
yeah. So Hinami is her name. She just ran in the room, big fluff ball she is, but she
Now,
does
have
not
you
like
ever
to be held.
worn?
So
No, I. Now, have you ever worn heels or like
oh
boots with
gosh,
heels?
I did Vaggie Angel form from Hasbin Hotel.
Ooh, baggy. Ooh.
Vaggie, yeah, I did her angel form before she
Ooh.
went down.
Lost an eye.
So I had these heels that were ridiculously high and small.
Oh.
I could last in those for maybe an hour. And then I was like, nope, switching to flats.
This actually brings me to a question because I've worn boots before, and they you shouldn't wear them for long. Advice for
Always have a
someone
backup pair. Always have a backup flats.
whether it be like flats, slippers, Uggs, any type of shoe that's more
Yeah.
comforting because and I'm sure you can agree with this. Break them in a
Yes.
couple days or a week before the con, because if you wear them at the con, there's a chance your feet could blister.
Yeah, that's me. I've done that. I don't know how many times. I'm just like, yeah, they're brand new, and they're like, what? I'm like, well, I walked it up and down the stairs. That was enough, right? But
You gotta like really. It's
I've
even
learned
like
it.
even certain flats you wear for a character, you gotta still break them in because
Yeah.
they're baby flats, but next thing you get at the con, next thing you got blisters on your feet, you're bleeding, and if you can, especially with boots, wear like compression socks or something. Put those
Yeah.
face bandages around your feet. Less chance of your feet getting blistered or bloody to where you can't even
Yeah. Wraps and tape and everything are actually really good for cons because you are on your feet a lot. So, and even if you have broken the shoes, sometimes that long a period of time can still rub wrong. So, I mean,
no.
still would be a
I
good thing to have.
I completely agree because I mean, like I said, when I do Geralt this year, I finally found a pair of boots that will get here on time for like $50, and they're my size. It's like I know I'm gonna have to like wear those around the house.
Yeah.
Especially like I said, I've seen. Speaking of which, I've seen cosplayers like when they cosplay as Trish Marigold, or especially Yennefer, because Yennefer she's got heels that are like right up to there.
Yeah, I do actually, Yennefer. But I have these boots that are really chunky heels. So those help and they're very broken in. I've worn them for a lot of different things. So that was a good thing. So
Nice. What version of Yennefer did you go as? Did you go as Witcher
The
3
Witcher
or
3.
okay? Nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the fourth game to come out because I know there'll be a lot of Siri cosplays.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I already have friends that are already planning stuff already. They're just like, come on, bring out the game. Let's go.
I mean, hell, speaking of new cosplays, the game's not even out yet, and I'm already seeing people cosplay as the main protagonist from Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah, I've actually seen some of that too. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's simple, just a suit and then the blonde wig and the glasses and then this FBI badge.
Yeah. I mean, if you can pull it off right away, do it. Because yeah, until all the cosplay companies start being like, oh, I see this is popular. Let's make an outfit. So
This actually brings me to a question. What are your thoughts on? And this is not like geared towards about anything. What do you think of when people cosplay from a character from a media that hasn't even been released yet? Like we just saw a trailer, and then next thing you know, bam, like 20 people are already cosplaying that character from like a thing that's not even out yet.
I mean, I can't. I don't really have any words for that. I have friends that have like cosplayed anime characters because they've read the manga, so they're further along than everybody else, and they started cosplaying their books before the came out for the anime watchers. So
And I will say I'm impressed that people can like do that right away.
cosplayers are quick. They're very quick. Very word of mouth, and whew, they are on it. It's not even a full snap. It's like barely touching your fingers, and it's already out. They work fast.
I'm the type of person that waits like a couple months or a year after something comes out to cosplay because it's like.
I mean, some people, they do. There is some people that do it just, to get those numbers because they're like, oh, it's popular. It's going to be popular. It's going to be this. Some people do it for that, and some people do it because they just generally want to, and that should be totally fine.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong with that. Like
Yeah.
I cosplay characters, like for
I'm like,
example,
I don't see anything wrong. I mean, like, unless you're not going to like give a huge spoiler, I think you're okay.
well, I mean, like if you see some cosplaying like from a trailer, one, I think not only does that bring the hype up for the game itself,
Yeah.
but it's also like shows other cosplayers like, oh hey, we can do this too.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody should be allowed to do that. So.
Oh, I 100% agree on that.
Yeah, just because one person's doing it doesn't mean you can't. So.
Oh yeah, no. Now before we get onto the cosplays, have you ever competed in any type of cosplay competition for
No.
even if it's
That's easy for me. No, I am. A lot of my stuff is bought, except for a couple outfits that I made myself, which are very, very amateur. With my whole stage fright and anxiety, I'm not
No,
a stage person.
Oh no, I trust me. Someone, back in 2003 who was like 10 years old, trying to get all those stage fright things, I get that. And, it's different for
It just
everybody.
feels like a stress that I'm like, I will stress myself out, and I don't want to be. I don't want to do that.
No,
So
that is completely understandable, and there is nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Let's see here. Have you ever done like any big over the top cosplays?
No, mine are all pretty chill. The only thing that I was even remotely close was my fantasy overhaul. I did the full like Scalara. I had claws. I mean, yeah, but I don't think any of my stuff was really over the top. I don't think everything else is pretty chill.
Fair. Now on to the cosplays you've done. I have specific questions pertaining to those. What's that one cosplay you've not done in so long that you would like to bring back?
Definitely Gother from Seven Deadly Sins. Not very heavily cosplayed. A lot of people
No,
don't like the character.
I mean,
I
if you've seen
loved
that,
them, but
if you've seen the one episode of Seven Deadly Sins, you can see why there is a kind of a distaste for Goth, especially how he tries to basically control everyone.
yeah.
I know what you mean. Like people have hate for them. I know exactly what episode. I haven't finished Seven Deadly Sins, but I am watching. I did leave off in the part where Gother was trying to control everybody because he just like what was the reason for him controlling everybody again?
Gosh, it's been so long since I've watched it. Me and my son watched in the entirety. Now there's actually more about their kids coming through, but I haven't watched those ones either. It had something to do.
Can he not want to be alone or not having companionship or something?
Yeah, he had lost somebody, and he didn't want to do that again. I guess it
Oh yeah,
just wanted people.
the big armored person.
Oh yeah, that was his. Yeah, one of his things, but he was not really in that. They just thought it was him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will say, Gother is very, and I know this is like no disrespect. He's very androgynous because when I first saw Gother, I thought that was a female character.
Yeah, that's I kind of have a thing for those characters, because like with them, as well as Juzao from Tokyo Ghoul, because Juzao is born male, but he was castrated, and so yes, so and then he would dress up in girls' clothes for this one like thing, and people thought he was a girl. So I mean, like he's very androgynous, and I very much love him too. So I like those characters. I like that you can't tell.
Oh yeah,
It just gives them more, I
oh
think,
yeah.
depth.
There's this one anime that came out recently. I seen on TikTok. I can't remember the name of that. I can't remember the name of the anime, but it's like the main character was born a male, but throughout their life they felt more female presenting. So they have like this long black hair with the red tips at the bottom. They're very tall and muscular. And there's
Yes.
one scene where they're like pole dancing, and it's a very lighthearted anime. Say it's more for teenagers, but I can't remember the name, but it looks so good.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I don't think I've seen that one, but I feel like I am drawn to a lot of the androgynous looking ones. I myself, people have called me that I look androgynous at times. So I think I just kind of gravitate towards those.
Fair, there's as I always say, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. What's that one cosplay? I call them one and dones or vaulted cosplays that you've done once because you were curious about it, someone asked you to, but it just didn't fit the vibe. You just weren't a big fan of it, so it's either you just never done it again, or it's in the metaphorical cosplay vault, where maybe someday you may want to do them again, but just
I
right
actually have a
now.
few of those.
What are two of them?
One I have. Ooh, I'm now gotta think about all the cosplays I've done. Because I've done a few of them a couple times. Like Overhaul, I've done a couple times. Rengoku, I've done a couple times. Akaza, I've done a couple times. Atsushi, I've done a couple times. I have cosplays I haven't even touched yet. in my closet. But I think one of the first outfits I made was Octagawa in his red ninja kind of looking outfit. That one was one and done. That was a very difficult outfit to make, and for being one of my first actual makes, it made me cry. So, I mean, I got a lot of compliments on it on that day, but yeah, that was a one and done because that is literally sitting in a garbage bag right now.
Oh, it's one of though. It's not a vaulted cosplay. It's a garbage bag cosplay. Where
It
it's
is
like
a garbage. Yeah, I
where
was
they're gonna
very, yeah.
where you're either gonna toss it or just get rid of. Basically, it's a
Yeah.
cosplay that you want to get rid of.
But yeah, I usually will do them again. It just depends on a few things. Cats driving me nuts. Like I usually do what my friends want to do a lot of the times, or unless I already planned it. So, but I'm usually I like doing a lot of new cosplays just as test things out. And sometimes I'll bring them back, and sometimes I won't. But I have so many plans.
Fair. Now, what is that one cosplay like? I call it comfort cosplay. It's a cosplay that no matter how many times you cosplay them, is just a character you enjoy cosplaying as.
Overhaul is probably definitely one, and then Atsushi from Bungo Stray Dogs. I've done him so many times. And even just to go out and about, I will, I had my hair cut like him for a while, so I used to dress like him all the time, actually outside of cons and whatnot. So he's definitely a comfort character for me. Him, Juzao from Tokyo Ghoul, and Overhaul are my three top comfort characters.
Nice. Now, another question I ask: What are your upcoming cosplays, and what is your all-time dream cosplays? A character you've always wanted to cosplay, just right now is not on the skill set or the budget.
My dream cosplay is actually Morgan from Dragon Age.
Wait, okay. Which Dragon Age? Dragon Age Origins?
So
She
could
wasn't
do
in two.
any of them. The Origins is probably my favorite look. I do like how she looked in Veilguard, though.
When
that
I saw her
was just
when I saw her, it's like, wait, why is she? Oh, she's exactly like her mother.
Yes, exactly. She just yeah. She's my game wife.
No, same. She was my romance in
Yeah.
In Origins. It was her. 2, it was Meryl. 3, it was Cassandra. And Veilguard, it was Valara. I have a thing for mages, people with short hair, and elves.
Yeah, my first one was Morgan. Origins was Morgan, or if I went the male route, of course it was Alistair, because I love the little golden retriever boy.
Oh no,
second one is Fenris. Fenris all the way. You could not take me away from Fenris.
I think everyone's favorite character was Fenris. I can't remember his voice actor's name. But he was probably one of the companions I brought on the most, aside from Varric.
Yeah. Oh, Varric. I love Varric. I was very upset. I can't do spoilers if anybody hasn't played Veilguard.
I played it, and trust me, when I saw that part, it's like, you know what? I'm sad, but it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Inquisition, it was Dorian.
I mean,
and
fair. I mean, well, Dorian, I know with Dorian, you had to be a male character, just like with Cassandra, you had to be a
male character.
And with my favorite sarcastic lesbian elf, Sarah, you had to be a male.
I haven't done her run yet, because when I first played that game, the very first run, she annoyed the crap out of me. I couldn't stand her. No. But as it went on, and as I played over and over, I started growing to love her. So
she's like the annoying little sister. Is that it's like how I perceived PB from Mass Effect Andromeda. She's the annoying little sister.
Yeah. And Veilguard, that's a hard one, because all the companions they had something, all of them. I've done every single character on there. I've romanced every single one. Davrin was my first, though.
I chose when you get you the options on who to sacrifice. I'm not going to say who I sacrificed, but I'm just going to say
I sacrifice the same person every time.
Who was?
And it's not Davrin.
I sacrificed the character that wasn't the one you sacrificed. I was like, okay, it's just gonna be. Wait, why is no? God damn it!
I would never sacrifice Davrin because of the Griffin. So
I thought it was just gonna be Halson, and then when I saw the Griffin, like, I don't want to play this game anymore, but we have to finish it because we're almost done. But God,
I got
fucking
spoiled
damn
on
it.
that, so that's why I could never choose him after that. For somebody spoiled it.
I got spoiled on Harding.
I'm
like, I don't want to get rid of Harding because she's already in a romance with Tosh.
Yeah, I know.
And
she was around for a while. She's been,
And maybe it's just gonna be Davrin. No, then it's spoilers. Then I saw Halson, like, no, he's my favorite. We did all the quests together.
Yeah.
Maybe
Same with the Emmerich story, and that was depressing too.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it.
My little skeleton buddy. But yeah.
Oh no, I saved Emmerich, and I made sure to revive Emmerich. Skeleton.
Cats. No.
But yeah, Morgan, I can't wait to see Morgan because her outfit, she's got that outfit, she's got her ball gown outfit when you go to Winter Palace.
Yes.
And then she wears her out. Then she's back to her regular outfit when you meet her and her son.
Yes.
And then she's got her Veilguard outfit, which is just a cross between her original outfit and then the crown thing that resembles her mother.
Yeah. Plymouth. Yeah. I love the newest outfit. It was just that was like, I got a cosplayer. I gotta get there. Eventually. But my next outfits actually are from Bleach. So
what characters?
Well, Urahara.
Urahara.
Or not Sasuke, but yeah, Urahara is one. The other one is Shuhei. He is the one with the big scythes, who has the 69 on his cheek.
Okay, I haven't watched Bleach in a long time.
Okay, well, I fell in love with him. His character is amazing. His Zanpakuto is I just created the Zanpakuto. It's sitting downstairs in my living space.
I saw your pictures of that, and I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah. So I'm bringing that to SummerCon. Yeah. So we'll see.
Nice. A character that's on my list to cosplay from Bleach is, aside from Urahara, is Kimbachi Saraki.
Nice.
Only because that, and also that I just learned not long ago. His voice actor, his voice actor is the same. His original voice actor is the same guy who voiced Jiraiya from Naruto.
Oh yes, I know. I've already done Orihime and Unohana, and I also have plans on doing Hollow Ichigo.
Ooh.
The white hair and everything. So.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar. I watched like different parts of each season. The last one I ever watched was the one that dealt with Grimjow and Lord Aizen.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't understand why everybody was obsessed with Grimjow for a while. I was like, yeah, he's hot. That's about it. But then watching it, I'm like, okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Aizen is pretty, but I cannot stand Aizen.
People are also obsessed with Okuria.
Oh gosh, yes, he's another one of my babies.
The emo looking who had like a thing.
The little demon boy is what I call him. The little green demon boy.
Now I do this thing that I kind of do. If I pick a cosplay for you that I think you could probably do well in. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but the character's name is James Moriarty from the manga and the Crunchyroll anime.
Yes. I have that on my watch list. I've got to finish watching that. I have so many animes to watch right now.
The manga, I will say, I went to Barnes & Noble, and it's like, I was in the manga section, like, okay, which one do we... Ooh! I know I'm familiar with Moriarty, so I will tell you the manga is completely different from the anime.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Because the manga is a lot more darker and more.
Yeah, that's how it was with Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul, the manga is so dark.
But
But
yeah,
the cartoon, the anime is
oh
just
yeah,
it's great and it does get dark, but it's not as dark as
I
manga.
yeah, but this is my cosplay recommendation for you: is Moriarty from Moriarty the Patriot.
I have to research. I will have to research.
You can watch it on Crunchyroll,
Yeah.
or is it? It's either Crunchyroll or Funimation. I can't remember.
Crunchyroll and Funimation, they
Oh,
merged. So
okay.
it's Crunchyroll.
Yeah, no, it's surprisingly the manga. I'm
It
almost
might
like,
actually be on Hulu now. Hulu is actually has a ton of anime now. So
oh yeah, but I honestly recommend reading the manga.
okay.
If you could, check your local Barnes and Noble's manga section.
Yeah. Okay. That is on my list now.
Now on to my last few questions. These are probably my all-time favorites. Have you ever had a cosplay mishap?
Oh
Cosplay
my god.
yours ripped, whether it be the prop, whether it be the cosplay, whether you were getting ready for the con or you're at the con, and something ripped, snapped, broke, shattered, just anything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Oh yeah. So with my fantasy overhaul, yeah, the contacts were driving me nuts to begin with. One, two, the claw kept coming off, breaking, and then
Oh no!
like all the armor started coming on. I was just like, I was a hot mess, but I mean, the pictures turned out great, and it lasted throughout the day. But I had a lot of mishaps. I had to go to the cosplay fixer a couple times. So that's that. The other one was I was Ryuji from Persona 5. I
Ooh.
got in the car and my pants ripped on my way to the con.
Oh, where exactly was like a SpongeBob ripped his pants moment? Rip
It
pants
was
or?
because I've like it's not where you bend over and it rips open. It was my inside of my thigh. So as long as
Oh
I was
no!
able to keep my legs together while walking around, you couldn't notice. So
Oh no!
yeah. But those pants were done for.
Out of all the times, it's always like the pants I hear stories about ripping.
Yeah. Definitely buy if you're gonna buy your cosplays, buy in a bigger size because you can always, you know, pin them to make them smaller. But yeah, definitely upsize. If anything, upsize.
Oh yeah, no, especially if you're getting an Asian size, go 2 sizes bigger. I learned that.
A couple
Uh,
size bigger, actually.
I learned that lesson. Like, oh yeah. This is because I got it off of eBay. Like, oh
Yeah,
yeah. They were saying, oh yeah. This is the size you need to go to. It gets in. It kind of fits, but I also had to use safety pins. But I brought the wrong size safety pins, so
uh,
I got rid of that. I got rid of that cosplay many years ago, and I'm just like, yeah, we learn. Don't buy a pre-made cosplay that is your size. Go a size up.
yeah, definitely smart.
Now another question I ask. I call them WTF convention moments. Basically, you're at a convention and it's just the situation to be like, okay, I need to go over there to like you're creeping me out. Please get away from me.
Oh yeah, I've had a moment like that. I felt there was this one person who I felt like was following me, and I had to tell my friends, and they would circle around me. Like they were like, no, yeah,
Just there are
I've had a couple of
signs.
those.
There are signs, but people choose to ignore those signs. Cosplay does not equal concern.
Yeah, yeah,
No means no. Like if you have to go to security. And also, if you think about getting physical with them, please do not because that will just put you in more hot water.
yeah, exactly.
Because that's how they can easily say, well, they insulted me, you know, because of the handprint or whatever. Like you got to be
Yeah,
careful if you're gonna like do anything when there's like just a bad situation involved. You got to think about okay, go to security first, or if you really have to, leave the convention. You don't want to cause more issues.
yeah.
Now my last favorite question. What has been your favorite convention moment? Like, it's something to this day that's just like it's the best thing that ever happened.
Oh gosh. I actually attended a supernatural con. And I was dressed up as Castiel.
Nice.
Mark Shepard, I swear he picked on me the entire freaking con. I went to a panel and he would come up to me and he would just like give me the up and down and be like, why is everybody dressing as this freaking angel? And I'm just like,
Who's Mark Shepard again? Is he the voice
then
of?
a little bit later, I was standing in line because I was going to get a photo with him. And he comes up behind me and smacks my wings. And I'm like, what?
Who's Mark?
Then I was getting up there to take a picture with him, and he was like, "You," and I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" So
Is he the voice? Is he the actor of Crowley?
yes, he's Crowley. Yeah, Mark Shepard is amazing. So
I hear he's very nice from what I hear, from what I've heard.
he can have a dry, like dark sense of humor. Like you can't tell if he's joking or not, and then he's just like, it's just funny. Yeah, he's great. It works. I mean, he's like literally Crowley almost in real life. It's great.
Nice. Last question. Before we end this, before the other last question, what type of advice would you just want to give in general about the things we've discussed in this episode?
Just any advice? Just do what makes you feel happy. Don't listen to anybody. There's a big community out there that will stand behind you as well. Yeah. Take care of each other. Drink lots of water.
Definitely. And energy drinks are not a substitute.
Oh no, please no.
I make
Ibuprofen
that.
and water. Those are the cosplayers' best friends.
Oh yeah, no, and also I think you can agree with this. If you don't really don't want to spend money like at Food.con, bring your own food. Like pack
Yeah.
a couple sandwiches, bring some ramen.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some friends bring some little snack bags, so those have saved us time and time again. So it's nice.
Oh yeah.
But
Also
water,
save money.
all the water.
And it doesn't hurt if you're traveling long distance for a convention. Stop and take breaks at a rest stop, and if you're at a gas station, get something to snack on.
Yep.
Me and my sister do this thing is before we leave, we'll stop at a gas station, fill up, get something to drink, get something to snack on, and take the necessary stops we need because sometimes you can't always hold your bladder.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
And
oh my gosh.
If you really have to, find
some
a spot
days
on the road.
you have to go all the time, and some days you don't. So you never know what your body's gonna do.
And honestly, if you have to do it, pull on the side of the road, open the doors, and just go to the bathroom.
Yep. Exactly.
I've done it before, and just because sometimes you just
a lot of people do it.
You gotta go.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, another thing. What kind of impact has this hobby had on you? What's it been like for you?
It's definitely brought me out of my dark places. I have moments like that, but being around people enjoying the same thing as you, I mean, it brings a light out and it's nice. So it's definitely a big impact. I'm a very homebody type person. I don't go out very much, very introvert, but when I go to these cons, I feel like it brings out more me. So
nice. And finally, where can people find you on social media if they want to stay up to date with your cosplays or meet you at the next convention?
I have a few socials, but Instagram is my main source. I'm on it quite often to either talk with people or post stories or, support other cosplayers. I'm always trying to repost the stories of like people that are looking amazing and smaller cosplayers especially. The big ones the big popular people are great, but everybody knows they're great, so I try to focus on more of the smaller ones because everybody's working hard. Everybody does their bit to be in their happy place, and it brings me joy to see that there's other people enjoying this type of thing. So
nice. Well, Jules, again, thank you for coming on to
Yeah,
talk about
thanks
your
for inviting me.
cosplays and convention experiences. Looking forward to seeing you at KimuraCon this year.
My plan was Kaneki. I might be doing Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul for that, so we'll see.
Who's Kaneki again? Is that the one main character?
He's the main character in Tokyo Ghoul.
Who wears
So he's
like
the part
leather?
human, part ghoul.
Is he like wear the mask and everything too?
He does the big mask, yeah.
Okay, I remember seeing people like. Is it the one with the where you like unzip it like this? Or am I
So
thinking?
the zipper, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've seen a lot of people cosplay him when Tokyo Ghoul got really popular.
Yeah, I wish they would just bring it back. They revive it. I mean, the first season was a freaking immaculate. The second season was just so. I mean, I kind of liked the ending of season 2, but season 1 definitely had a major impact, especially on me and my son. So,
Well, I think that should do it. As always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.